From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE, as guess what? Your incredible recon has passed. The representative passed your incredible recon overnight. Now the latest details in this recording. As a deal is done on the incredible recon, and away we go off to the Senate. The breaking news at mornings. Then we turn to the incredible details of what the Senate's going to do next. The Senate's going to add a lot of provisions into this recon that so far pays you about $15,000. What are those additional checks they're going to add? I have all the latest details. Then we're going to turn back over to third stimulus. That is now available. It has been available for several months. Pays you on average $45,000. Get your bills and checks and items paid this week from third stimulus. I show it to you how to get it in this recording. And then we're going to turn over to the student loan debt forgiveness and also to the exciting details of fifth stimulus, because fifth stimulus is needed as we go into a new year and the COLA raise being raised up across the board. Then we'll be turning over to the exciting details of frameworks, as millions of Americans are not looking eye to eye on what provisions are going in that incredible recon. We'll have a preview of sirloin as well. It's a big, bold, beautiful morning. As I told you, we would be passing the House of Representatives. I told you the senators would be adding more into the recon, and I told you I would still not be having my bacon. You know what? I try so hard, but the bacon still does not show up. But the great news is the House has passed your incredible recon, and away we go off to the Senate. The details and more starting right here, right now, as Mornings LA starts. Good morning, everybody. Here we go. The House of Representatives passed recon overnight, and that recon will pay you about $15,000 across all these incredible clusters of checks. I'll show you how to get these multiple checks amounting to about $15,000 under this fourth stimulus recon. But no time or place to wait to pay your bills, because the bills can be paid right now under third stimulus. Third stimulus is paying on average about $45,000 of you as this channel. I'll show you how to get that money, get that pen paper ready. We'll be turning over to student loan debt forgiveness, and then we'll be turning over to fifth stimulus. The latest details about that fifth stimulus very heating up as, oh, we found some bacon. Here's some bacon. Yeah, we're going to go over to some fifth stimulus. And that fifth stimulus heats up as we go into a new year. And then we have the latest details on frameworks, and then a preview of sirloin. As the toast is toasted and the butter is buttering and the coffee is brewing, and guess what? We got a little bit of bacon, and we also have a House bill. Signed, deal done, off to the Senate. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason. I told you this was going to happen. I told you they're going to pass it. I told you how, when, where, and all the details, and it happened. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Let's go over what we're going to cover in this incredible recording. First, we're going to go over that incredible recon that passed overnight in the House of Representatives that pays you on average about $15,000 across three clusters. We're going to go over each of those three clusters. Then we're going to come back and go over each of these checks one at a time. Go over where the senators are going to add more checks into this recon, beef it up, because I think it's going to bring you to about $60,000, $70,000 of checks across this fourth stimulus recon. Then we'll take a step back into third stimulus land, because you need bills paid right today. I'm going to get your bills paid right today under third stimulus. Then off to fifth stimulus and student loan debt forgiveness. And away we go. Here we start. A House of Representatives early Friday morning called the final vote and passed your wonderful fourth stimulus recon. And that fourth stimulus recon is now off to the Senate. And that recon so far has in there about $15,000 of incredible checks across all these incredible three clusters of checks. This $15,000 is multiple checks that you qualify for, and I'm going to show you how to get them. But let's start with the first items of checks in this recon, and here we go. In that first cluster of checks has in there hazard pay and $4,000 of elder care. Wow. They got in there hazard pay, earned income tax credit, back end, $4,000 of elder care, front end check. They got in there the $4,000 to care for the young child. They got in there also the Pell Grant, $550 for my college student. Then they got in there the money for the CTC, child tax credit, one more year about that. And then they got in there home repairs if you live in a low-income community. Finally, they got in there the $12,500 for the purchase price of a new electric vehicle. That is your first cluster that pays you about $5,000 across these incredible items. Let's go to the first add-on, and it comes from the illustrious Maxine Waters. It is money to go buy a home. Excuse me? Free money to go buy a home? Yes, they got it in there. She wanted $25,000, but it'll be a little bit less. And it is free money to purchase of your first home. How do you get this money? Stay with me. I'm going to show you how to get the sum of money later in this video. Let's go to the second add-on. The second cluster of checks, and here we go. They got in there paid leave, front end, home repairs, front end. We got in there pre-kindergarten, front end. Then the household tax credit, and also the exciting details of that, which starts with that big money for the home repairs. In this case, it is the weatherize your home. Weatherizing your home. Definitely need to weatherize your home, because when carolers come caroling during the Christmas, you don't season, you do not know if perhaps it's Kevin McCarthy. And you know when he starts, he never stops. So you don't want to let them in. Weatherize your home in case Kevin shows up. There we go. Let's go to the second add-on of checks. It comes from the illustrious Bob Casey. Senator Bob Casey got it in there, $250 billion, a little bit less. This is free home health care for my seniors and my workers. Wow. Here we go. Let's go to the third cluster of checks. And this is where it becomes true deliciousness. Here we go. They got in there checks for seniors and checks for free internet. Where are they? Let's go over the details. Free school meals for all checks. Cheaper prescription medication. Immigration reform. Free farmers. Then the money for free internet. The workers like independent contractors. And then the Medicare expansion. On the Medicare expansion, they got 2 provisions in there on the House side, but they're adding 3 on the Senate side. On the House side, they got in there the hearing services, hearing aid, and the Medicaid gap states. On the Senate side, they're going to be doing dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, which tees up our third add-on, and that is multiple stimulus IRS check, or MSC. A lot of opportunity to add it on the Senate side, which is always the place where we would add it. Those senators, 6 of them, have represented viewers of this channel over the last few months. They would add it on the Senate side. The 2 C's, the 2 S's, and the 2 W's. This week, 2 viewers, including Lynn Glenn, reached out to those 6 senators, and we're told again they're still putting that monthly or multiple checks in there, at least one. And they are Sanders Schumer, Warren Wyden, Casey Coons. What's important to understand is that they last indicated the provisions looking like the following. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 6 months. That would be 6 months of checks. And they had said the same eligibility as third stimulus. What was the eligibility on third stimulus? Single individual, $75,000 or less. Got it. $150,000 or less. Got it. Double it. Family of 4. Got it. Quadruple it. And benefits on SSI, SSDI, they got it as well. But what's important to understand is that now we are off to the Senate. And what I told you would happen, happened. Minutes ago, Bernie Sanders said, thank you for passing this incredible recon in this House. But we have a lot of stuff to do. And that's why you need to advocate. It's important to advocate because guess what? The senators want to hear from you. And now it's in their ball. The court ball is in their court. And they say now, if in total between congressional senators' offices receive more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. Over 3 million. Everyone's amazed by the outpouring of touching stories. Now they have a better understanding of what Americans are going through. They have heartbreaking stories, and they have the voice of people across the nation in you, LA, as you have become too loud to be ignored. Please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy as the professional voice of the people you have become, LA, until this becomes law. Absolutely. Here's what's at issue. 1, you need to advocate, because now we're in the Senate. No longer advocating in the House. We're done with the House. We're in the Senate. So those 2 C's, those 2 S's, and those 2 W's, advocate. But you also need to give yourself some free time per week. For what? Picking up the phone and getting third stimulus money, which on average, viewers of this channel have gotten $45,000 for a month to pay for your bills right now. That third stimulus money is available right now, and it'll pay for your bills right now. You don't have to wait for 4th stimulus. This is third stimulus. How do you get this third stimulus money? It's coming up in the second half of this video. Then we'll be turning to the incredible programs that pay you about $15,000 under 4 stimulus, landing in the Senate this week. Student loan debt forgiveness, the latest details on that student loan debt, and then fifth stimulus. And then we turn to the excitement of frame wars. Where did we leave off yesterday, and what is happening next with frame wars? Those details and more as we go into a big second half, then a preview of Sirloin as he is back. Where was he today? I have a preview of Sirloin and more. I'll see you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now from Santa Monica, California. As we go into the live second half of Mornings this morning from Santa Monica, California, as those programs will pay you about $15,000 across all these incredible clusters of checks. Then we turn over to third stimulus that's available to pay your bills right now, upwards of $45,000. We'll be turning to student loan debt forgiveness, and then to fifth stimulus. Those details and more, plus the excitement of frame wars. Boy, we got a big second half. And then a preview of Sirloin. If you've spotted him this morning, you know what I'm talking about. Those details and more as we go into a big second half. And this is LALATE, America's most talked about financial news channel. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is noontime. Then 1 o'clock afternoons and 3 o'clock afternoons. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. And here we go off to the Senate. I had told you this was going to happen, and this is what exactly happened. Well, let's recap so you understand where we are and where we're going. It was several months ago I told you that we had 2 bodies of legislation, roads and bridges and recon. And I told you that the recon procedural passed, $3.5 trillion, passed in the House, passed in the Senate. Then I reported to you, before anyone else, it had not happened, that I believe that the House of Representatives would write the recon substantive bill in a subcommittee. They did. That subcommittee would call vote and pass it, and they did. And then the House would vote first on the recon, not the Senate, and they did today. After an 8-hour delay last night because of Kevin McCarthy, the House of Representatives passed your wonderful recon today, which means that it now goes over to the Senate. And I had told you over the last month that the senators have said they're going to add a lot of stuff to this recon, and that is what Bernie Sanders said minutes ago. In a series of tweets, he said, thank you for passing that recon out of the House, but get ready for the Senate, because we're adding a lot of stuff in there. So let's go over what is in the recon so far and what is going to be added by those senators. Get that pen and paper ready, because this is a lot of money for you. It's lots of checks, and it's on average about $15,000. But by likelihood, by the time the senators is done, it's maybe $50,000 to $60,000 for the viewers of this channel. Let's start with the paid leave and family leave. How much does it pay? A lot. Up to $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. $800 a week if you make $35,000 or more per year. $400 a week if you make $15,000 or more per year. What is this? It is for people who have to stay home from work due to illness, death, or also a birth of a child in the household. Now, if you do not work, you still would get the benefit of this. Why? Because, for example, if you live with a person in the household who has to stay home from work because of you, then that check would go to the person on behalf of the household. Case in point, let's say you're an elderly person, you live with your son and daughter, they take you to the doctor once a week and take off from work. They would get the check paid to them for having to take you to work. The eligibility is incredible. It's wonderful. It is for all individuals, all income levels, W-2, 1099. How many weeks per year? 4 weeks, up to 4 weeks, which on the high end is $5,000 to $6,000. It's a huge sum of money. The second wonderful provision they got in this recon is the SALT. The SALT is the cap on state and local tax deductions, which you could put on the federal tax return. Under the 2017 Trump overhaul, you can only deduct $10,000 of what you pay in state taxes on the federal tax return. Now you can deduct $72,500 of what you pay in state and local taxes on the federal tax return. They got $40 billion of free job training in this incredible recon. They got the Medicaid gap fixed in there. Viewers always asking me, where is the cheaper insurance? Here it is. If you're in one of those Republican governor states, 12 of them, that refuse to pay for Obamacare, they got it in there. A workaround plan that will provide years of subsidized private insurance to low-income uninsured people in those states. And then finally, they got the $150 billion of housing assistance in this forced stimulus recon. Forced stimulus recon. And what is that? Rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, then home repairs, weatherize your home, and first purchase of your first home. The first few items may sound familiar. They are, because they are from third stimulus. And guess what? Third stimulus is still around and paying out money this week. And that is where you should lean on to get your bills paid this week. I'm now going to cut back to third stimulus, because if you have bills to be paid this week, you can get them paid under third stimulus. Your rent, your utilities, your mortgage assistance. And I'm going to show you how to get that money starting right now. Get that pen and paper ready. First, it's important to understand you are qualified for this. Whether you're in a red state or blue state, single or married, elderly, young, not ahead on bills, not behind on bills, you can get this money. I'm going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, food, and more, and I'm going to show you how viewers on the channel have averaged out at $45,000 from third stimulus, and we're starting right now. Let's go over the rent. The rent is a huge payout, and the rent numbers about 3 months ago was this graphic. Viewers were getting $20,000 to $30,000 for rent at the time. Now they're getting $40,000. How are they getting $40,000? What happened to that rent? Let me tell you. One, they've become more sophisticated by watching the videos. The more you watch the videos, the better you get used to this. Number two, they got multiple rounds. Number three, they got money from different sources. All right, where do you get the money? Here you go. Get that pen and paper out and write it down. If you're a member of this channel, it's in the newsletter, so you don't have to write it down. You're going to reach out to 6 places. Here they are. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall and State Housing Authority. And the keywords you can say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Here's a couple things to know. 1, you must reach out to all 6. Repeat, you must reach out to all 6. Do not reach out to 1, get a no, and stop. They have different eligibility. They have different pots of money. If one says no, reach out to the other 6. Then you can lean on the nonprofits as well. Number 2, you can get applications on file everywhere. So do not apply at one place and call it a day. Get multiple applications on file. You can apply for multiple rounds. You can get paid multiple rounds. And you can get paid from 2 different sources at the same time. Then you want to do the same thing for mortgage assistance. Let's turn over to utilities. Here you go. Utilities, very simple. If you got 5 utilities, reach out to all 5 utilities. You're asking for utility assistance because of COVID. This is a graphic from 3 months ago. Then it grew to about 15,000. Now it's going even higher. Why? Because heating oil prices have gone up 49.1% year to date, says the Consumer Price Index number last week. So get this money. I had viewers, one viewer sent me a message overnight saying, I'm a senior. I'm not really good with the computer. You don't have to use a computer for this at all. You have to use a telephone. You're watching this video on a telephone, you can use the telephone. For example, have you called up the utility company before to report an outage or a leak or a smell? It's the same phone number. Pick up the phone and ask for utility assistance because of COVID. And there you go. Let's go over to food. SNAP. If you qualified for a third stimulus check, if you got a third stimulus check, then you qualify for SNAP. Eligibility is a SNAP. You reach out to Department of Agriculture. It is money for your food. And this was the graphic 3 months ago. It's now gone higher. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year. Yes, that's $250,000 he's getting from this channel over the next 10 years. And the amount of SNAP went up 25% lifetime starting last month. So get that money for food. No reason to pay for food if you qualify. Next, get multiple sums of money. Nancy and Nisi got 3 items, $32,000, $23,000. But Mark had gotten 2 items at $32,000. So I said to Mark, go get your 3rd item. He got a 3rd item. And he went from $32,000 at 2 items to $50,000 at 3 items. Here's Mark. $50,000 at 3 items. Now Mark has gotten more items. He's gone over $100,000. You want to keep on getting money. Lorraine, she was at 105. She's now at 120. Which tees us up to Johnny's story. Johnny was one of 3 viewers several weeks ago who started the week at $0 on this channel. By the middle of the week, by Wednesday, Johnny and the other 2 viewers who did not know each other got 3 items approved. 45,000. Good numbers for 3 items. But Johnny did not stop at 3 items approved. He continued to push. And by the weekend, he got 7 items approved. Why do I use Johnny's example? Because he called at least 15 places to get 7 items approved. That's what you want to do. You want to call 1 place and call it a day. You want to call 3 places and call it a day. You want to call 15 places. And he got 7 approved in 1 week. How much money did Johnny get from this channel? $80,000 in 5 days. Second part of Johnny's story I really like. Because what did he do? The next Monday, he told his family members, I got $80,000. Where? From this guy on YouTube, LALATE. Oh, what happened? Well, he told me about third stimulus and how you get this money. And they said to him, the family members, third stimulus, that's a $1,400 stimulus check. That's all I see on the local news, on cable news, on other YouTube channels, on print media, on cable news, on broadcast media. There's no other money in third stimulus. Yeah, there is. I got $80,000. And by the end of the week, those 2 family members got $50,000 each. That is what you do here. This is what we do here. Since day one, those other news sources don't cover first stimulus. Broadcast channels, YouTube channels, they don't show anyone how to get the money from these programs. They never have. They just read a little script and then they put up a graphic and they're done. Today, the passage of the recon in the House of Representatives, you would think they would have gone over some detail. They literally put up 3 little icons and little graphics and a number, and they got off the subject in about 12 seconds. They didn't show anyone how to get this money. They didn't show anyone how to get the money on a third stimulus. Why expect any better under the fourth stimulus? You're not going to see this breadth of coverage anywhere because I'm focused on getting you money. This is why this channel is the number 3 in the United States, because I cover what's called geopolitical news, this type of money for you. Next, I want you to get this money and get it today. So do not wait for fourth stimulus. Get it today. And you can do it. You can pick up the phone. You can call. If you use a phone to watch this video, you can call and get this money. Let's turn back into fourth stimulus now, where we left off in the housing provision. The other provisions in the housing are incredible. There is the home repairs, not law yet. This is fourth stimulus, not law yet. The home repairs, if you live in a low-income community, that would be a grant. The weatherize your home, that is likely a grant. All homes, not just low income. And then the purchase price of your first home, that is also going to be something that goes through the escrow as a grant. What other provisions are in this recon? Well, here we go. We also have $150 billion of home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. A $550 check to people who are college students on the Pell Grant. And then $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. You're seeing something brand new on Mornings LA about that today. I now see 2 problems with this that are going to have to get really dramatically fixed in the Senate. Number 1, I have a problem with the eligibility. It's electric vehicles, U.S., auto manufacturers, made in the U.S., union shops, which as of 2 months ago was 1 car. Why can you have a provision with 1 car? It makes no sense. As of a few days ago, it was 2 cars. What's the new car? That $200,000 Hummer. No one's buying a $120,000 Hummer. No one, yeah. Well, I mean, there will be some people, but they're not interested in tax credits. They got $120,000 in the bank to buy a Hummer. So there's likelihood that 2 other cars will be added to this list, the Cadillac Lyric and the Ford Lightning. But they really need to they need to change the wording, because you can have a recon for provision that qualifies for 2 cars, 3 cars. The new thing that I'm showing you for the first time on Mornings LA is I do not believe this provision is going to be legal. Why? I think it violates the trade agreements between the United States, Mexico, and Canada. There is a lot of cars made by Ford, Chrysler, GM with union workers, but they're located in Mexico and Canada. For example, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, which is electric, 100% electric, made in Mexico. U.S. auto manufacturers, U.S. workers, U.S. labor, U.S. Union, but it's made in Mexico. It doesn't qualify for this. And I do believe that Mexico and Canada is going to say this violates trade provisions. I do believe it violates trade provisions. I think it has to be modified. And it should be modified because people should have the choice of more than one car for a provision. It makes no sense. $65 for money for when you're not in school for the kids for food. Which brings us to one of the best provisions of the entire recon. It is the cheaper medication. 20 years ago, Medicare rolled out and could not discount medication. Now that's over. When this becomes law, the next day, 20 medications the next day will undergo dramatic pricing change because of good faith negotiations between Medicare and Big Pharma. For example, insulin doses will drop from $1,000 to $35 overnight. It's the most expensive medication that'll be slashed dramatically. Cancer, arthritis, diabetes, Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D, starting with 20 medications right out the door, and then growing to 30 medications by the year 2028. They cannot increase more than the rate of inflation per year, and if they do, there's a penalty provision in there. But does that penalty provision belong in there? No, says Pat Toomey, senator. That is among the provisions that the Senate parliamentarian will look at next week. Does a penalty provision belong in a recon? We will decide. She will decide that fate. She's also going to decide the fate of immigration reform in the recon. Does not belong in there, she previously ruled. It will likely come out. Side note, everything that Kevin McCarthy said of what's in the recon last night, 100% untrue. And I fully expect the channels that he broadcasts for, the conservative media, to report his statements. And it's just shocking. He repeated all that nonsense, and I know that half of America is going to believe it because it's absolute nonsense. It's not in the recon. Also, the provisions that the Senate parliamentarian may remove is paid leave, but we will see. And with that, get that pen and paper ready because it's time for some more checks in this incredible recon. And first, we're going to go over the changes. It was several months ago I told you that Bernie is going to add a lot to the recon. Well, he confirmed that minutes ago. Right after the recon passed on this Friday morning, Bernie says, good job. Now I'm going to add a lot of stuff to it. And I had the first quote from him months ago where he said, when he was asked, are you going to add stuff? He says, of course I'm going to add stuff. And we have the same confirmation from Juan Wyden and Chuck Schumer and Casey and Coons and Murphy. So what are those checks? Get that pen. Here we go. We have in there pre-kindergarten, 1 year, front-end check. Childcare, back-end check, 1 year. CTC, 1 year, front-end check, $3,600. Earned income tax credit for my essential workers, back-end, 1 year. Home health care, covered benefit. Then we have the hearing, likely just a check. Then we covered the housing. We covered the Pell Grant $550 check, and we covered the check for the students when not in school, $65 per month. So what provisions would Bernie add to this recon? Well, Bernie has made clear he has 3 provisions after MSC that he wants to put in there. 1, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare. 2, dental. 3, vision. Lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, very, very simple. It's at 65. He wants it at 55. I don't know if he can get 55. Bob Casey, who had that win with that other provision, he wants it at 60. Can they do 60? I think they can. Then we go to the dental. Last in the recon is a check, $850. Not enough. While it's a good check, it's not enough because it doesn't cover most procedures. Bernie wants it higher, but Bernie really wants 10 years of full benefits. I don't see that happening. It's too expensive. He tried to 3 years of benefits. That's maybe possible, which then tees up the question about vision. Bernie wants an eye exam per year and a pair of frames. I said an eye exam, $50, a pair of frames, $100. We're done. Send out the check, $150 a year. No. Frame wars. Frame wars heated up because people said, that's not enough, Ellen. It started with episode 1 where one viewer said in the live chat, my daughter buys me $450 frames and Medicare should cover that. No, Medicare's not shopping at the fine shops of Paris. I'm not talking about Paris, France. I'm talking about Paris, Kansas. They do not shop at the finest stores in Paris, Kansas. They do not. They do not shop for Fendi or Gucci. And this is not the house of Gucci either. But you can nominate for me for An Oscar if you wish. In episode 2, one viewer said, I need trifolds. Trifolds? Yes, I need trifolds with a special color. Is it purple? No, it's not purple. Well, it's not covered then. Then in the 3rd episode, one viewer said, my optometrist is such a nice guy, just so nice, takes really good care of me, and then sends me a bill for $2,000. That's why he takes really good care of you. These prices cannot stand muster with Medicare. So what will Medicare pay? What is the likely outcome of Frame Wars? Here's a little bit about the latest on Frame Wars today. And that is Frame Wars. If you have an opinion about how much frames should be in the recon, because now the Senate's acting on it, send me a private message or post on social media and tag me, whether it's humorous or real, and sometimes I don't know the difference. Meantime, what else in that recon needs to get fixed? There's a lot of confusing reporting about some of the pricing on the housing and also on the amount of home health care, but we'll go over that as we land in the Senate. Off to student loan debt forgiveness before I give you my commentary about forced stimulus. Student loan debt forgiveness, very, very fascinating. The president has an offer on the table. The Democrats should take it. $10,000 to be forgiven ASAP by executive order. Wouldn't go by recon, by executive order. Democrats should take it. He previously forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, people who went to work in the nonprofit sector or the public sector. COLA. Your benefits are going up 5.9% next year because of COLA, but get ready because this stimulus is right behind it. Why? Because COLA has left you undervalued for many, many years. Your benefits were undervalued pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, and now after the pandemic. So step one, they want to raise your benefits up one big time. Then they want to apply a new benchmark every December, which is inflation. First time they would apply it would be December 2022. And that is where you should go. This is for you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Rural benefits, veterans benefits. This stimulus, this will overlap with forced stimulus, just like forced stimulus is overlapping with third stimulus. Finally, they're going to remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty on the fifth stimulus. If you haven't become a member, what are you doing? The membership link is under the video. Become a member today to get the incredible newsletter to learn about all the big money under third stimulus, so you can get your bills paid today. Third stimulus paying the viewers on average about $45,000. The third stimulus, the newsletter comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system. Features the 6 places you reach out to. The keywords you say. Features the 5 nonprofits. Features the Treasury letter that you should read before reaching out for the rent, so you know exactly what this funding is. Viewers of this channel who have succeeded really well, like Mark and Nisi and Art Sullivan, and also Lorraine and Johnny, learned from the newsletter, applied the newsletter, and picked up the phone. If you're a senior, you can do this. If you don't use the computer, you can do this. All you need is a telephone. Have you ever picked up the phone, called the utility company? You have. I know you have. You can do this. You don't need a volunteer. You don't need someone's help. You don't need my help. Listen to the video and you can do this. And I'm very, very excited for you. Which tees up my final commentary as we go into a big noontime. Running a little bit late on running time because of all the breaking news today, but here we go. It's days like this, it's time to celebrate because everything we knew was going to happen, happened. Why do we know it? Because I had told you. If you look back over the last few months, everything that I told you was going to happen with the recon happened today. Several months ago, I told you that the House would pass a recon procedural, which was also called the framework, that would be passed by the Senate, the House, and then tee up recon substantive. It did. Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, and all the senators passed that recon framework, recon procedural, several months ago. It had a price tag of $3.5 trillion. It went over to the Senate, got approved. It went over to the House and got approved thereafter. Then we were ready for recon substantive, which ultimately was passed today. A lot of people didn't know where it would start, who would write it, where would vote first. Every single thing that I told you was going to happen, happened. I told you that the House would ride it in a subcommittee. They did. I told you the House subcommittee would vote first. They did. I told you what was going to be in that House subcommittee's language. It got in there. Then I told you that add-ons would be added. 2 add-ons added, Maxine Waters and Bob Casey. And then later paid leave added in there, and also SALT. So in total, actually 4 add-ons. I told you the House would vote first, not the Senate. Remember, at the time, no one was telling anyone in the American people where things would vote, where things would be written, where things would be modified, even that things would be modified. I reported it first to you, and it happened. Now we are off to the Senate. And what did Bernie Sanders say as soon as the House approved this recon Friday morning? I have a lot of stuff to add to it. You know that statement already because I featured on this channel. The very first moment the recon came out of subcommittee, Bernie Sanders had a very small interview in the halls of Congress. And I ran that quote, and his quote is the same today. It's been several weeks, but you already knew the messaging. That's why you're always a step ahead on this channel. You are always a step ahead because you learn the news months before it happens, weeks before it formulates. Now we're off to the Senate. The Senate has a lot of work to do, and the Senate is adding provisions in there, lots of provisions. When you see the graphic on the screen that says $15,000, I'm obviously undervaluing that because everything under third stimulus that got you $45,000 is repeated. So Anisi, who got $23,000, she's going to get $23,000 again. And that's just a start because fourth stimulus has all these new items in there as well. These items are so much of them that they're going to be paying you not just in a few weeks or a few months, but for over a year. I'll probably be helping people get the money for fourth stimulus all the way until Christmas 2022. There is that much money in there. But you and I know how we deal with things. We cash checks. We don't track checks. And fourth stimulus is not sending you a check today. Fourth stimulus is not sending you a check next week. Third stimulus could send you a check by the end of today. Third stimulus money is available today, and that money is a lot of it. You have bills, electric, water, heating oil, gas. You have rent or mortgage assistance. You have bills, and you can do this. What I've shown viewers over the last year is that they do not realize that in their capable skills, they can do this. They can learn and listen to the video. They can take notes. They can read the newsletter, and they can pick up the phone. You got a pen, you got a paper, you got a cell phone. If you got those 3 instruments, you can do this. You don't have to have a computer. You don't have to use anything complicated. It's a simple cell phone or telephone, a pen and paper, and you write it down and you make the calls. As soon as you get the first one, whether it's $300 or $100, you say, wait a second, I did that. In this last week that I brought third stimulus back on full force, thousands of viewers have gotten lots of money, and I'm very, very excited for you. Remember, get the money yourself. You can do that. Finally, very exciting because guess what? We're going into the holiday season, or we are in the holiday season. And so Noontime may likely be rebranded as it once was before, Holidays LA. So with Holidays LA potentially coming back at 11 a.m. to replace Noontime during the holiday season, where should Sirloin go? Should Sirloin be also on the Noontime holiday show at 11 a.m. daily? And how do you get the attention back on Sirloin when so many people may have been putting attention on Kevin McCarthy overnight? Well, just like how Kim Kardashian thought it would be cute to wear Yeezys while walking around with Pete Davidson overnight, I thought it might be cute to have some cows on the beach in Santa Monica. Did I put cows on the beach in Santa Monica overnight? Just don't tell the authorities. If you looked out on the surf on the beach overnight and noticed a beautiful herd walking on the beach, they were heading to the casino by way of Santa Monica. Who were they? I don't know. But let's watch the video and maybe we can get a sense of who these people were that showed up on Santa Monica beaches overnight. And then for the video of overnight, let's take a look and see what local authorities found on the beaches in Santa Monica. Very surprising. I was surprised when I saw it. Let's take a look. And join me next on Crypto live on air, and then we go into noontime live on air at 11 a.m. 2 shows back to back within the next 10 minutes. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Like this video and become a member. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.